So let's kind of review this. This Venus opposing Pluto is actually supporting Saturn because an opposition is of the nature of Saturn. So here's where we connect and we go back to yesterday. Venus trine Saturn retrograde. What happened for you? What restrictions, delays, and limitations did you feel like suddenly like, oh man, I really should have been there. I really should have showed up in some sort of way to avoid this problem. Now, the thing is we probably would have experienced Venus opposing Pluto yesterday into today, but the culmination of it tomorrow suggests that there's going to be an intellectual recognition of where we've gone off path and what we need to fix in those power dynamics in order to chase the Venetian pleasures in our life. Now, the only thing that makes all of this somewhat benefic, in my opinion, is that Venus, which is in the sign of Leo, which is the domicile of the sun, so Venus is behaving on behalf of the sun. It's encouraging and allowing our ego, it's cultivating our ego's growth. Now, the sun is in Virgo right now, and so the sun is actually looking for all of those discrepancies. Even though it's not sign related, the sun, as the great illuminator, is able to see and analyze, because that's Virgoan, it's able to see and analyze the discrepancies. So that would be the one benefic outcome of these transits, even the Venus opposing Pluto transit, is that we're able to really clearly see our physical ego self, maybe not our emotions, but our physical egoic self is able to very easily articulate where the discrepancy is in terms of our dreams and desires and what the power dynamics are, or where we've shown up, or where we have confused and mystified ourselves with the with the Neptune element. Now, let's get into this even more. Just following the Venus trine Neptune retrograde, Venus will then sextile Uranus, and Uranus is in the superior position in this case. And so essentially what that says to me is that our desires and dreams are a supporting element of whatever Uranus is innovating and revolutionizing, and it's coming through from an intellectual perspective. So this could look like being able to intellectualize what Venus is actually showing you in terms of the discrepancies. However, with it being Uranus, this could also cause a lot of sudden epiphanies or realizations. I wouldn't necessarily look for shocking events because it's in the sign of Gemini, which is airy, intellectual. We're experiencing Uranus from a very intellectual and perceptive base. But I would look for your dreams and desires basically supporting that Venetian storyline that's taking place in your Leonic house because of something that Uranus is changing and innovating. Now, we also at the same time have the moon conjunct Mars in Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus, so this transit is directly interacting with all of these Venus aspects as well that are happening concurrently. When the moon is conjunct Mars, our emotional body tends to become very impulsive, reactive. Think about your emotional body meeting the drive, the aggression, the masculine toxicity of the Mars, idea. But with it being in the sign of Libra, we are chasing balance, and so there is this drive, this action that we hope to pursue, but our emotional body is really feeling like on the gas pedal today. And this whole thing is both in support of all of these Venus storylines taking place, as well as Jupiter's storyline, because the moon is in domicile in Cancer, where Jupiter is swimming right now, and the moon and Mars, which are conjunct, are actually squaring Jupiter. So this brings us back around to how Jupiter is involved with all of these transits, is that we are feeling a direct tension in the Libran area of our life. However, it is continuing to be a part of the greater spiritual story that Jupiter is telling about the area of our life that needs to be nurtured, the Cancerian area. Now, as if I couldn't make this any more complicated, we're going to make it slightly more complicated, and we're going to go over this part a little bit less than other parts. So if you wanted me to dive in more and do a separate video about that, please leave a comment and let me know. But at the same time all this is happening today, tomorrow, while Venus opposes Pluto, and so there's going to be another video tomorrow probably about the Venus opposing Pluto, diving into all of those elements even more, we have Lilith in Scorpio trining Jupiter in Cancer, and we have Lilith in Scorpio squaring Mercury in Leo. And so what this suggests to me is that Jupiter is essentially, again, because the trine is in support of Jupiter, but Jupiter is also directly involved here, there is something in the underbelly, the undercurrent, the scorpionic area of our life that we need to transmute, a darkness, a shadow, an untapped potential that we need to transmute and kind of get over some of the bad stuff that comes along with that Lilith transit. And we're going to transmute that, because that's what Scorpio does. We're going to transmute that, and that is going to be fuel for our Cancerian storyline that Jupiter is involved with. Now, Lilith squaring Mercury suggests that those energies are somewhat working combatively against us. We're receiving some sort of data, some sort of information that's coming through the inner child, our Leonic area of our chart. However, it's in direct conflict with Lilith, where there is this need to transmute it, because whatever we need to transmute is something we haven't looked at. It's a shadow, it's uncomfortable. And so Mercury is bringing our direct attention to it. We're all eyes on that Lilith area of our life, and we're really feeling that viscerally. And to make it more interesting, Mars rules Scorpio, the Sun rules Leo, obviously the Moon rules Cancer. So there is a lot of indirect mutual reception that's taking place between all of these planets and the storylines that they are transposing in our lives. If you like these astrological narratives, if you like these long videos that I do, and you want to hear me talk more about it, I encourage you to check out the link in my bio, where you can sign up for my RSVPify, and you can sign up for my weekly class every Wednesday at 6:30. We dive real deep into this stuff. We dive into all of the storylines and timelines that are taking place, and how to use astrology to timeline jump, so to speak, in order to be aligned with your highest timeline. If I don't see you in class, I'll see you in the next video, and take it easy, everybody.